Right, back again with Chapter 18, Shrouding Dark Cloud, which does seem to me to be somewhat redundant. If it is a dark cloud, it is, of course, going to shroud most things. And now we have, well, nice little start. Remember, as of the last video, we tried to do something actually honourable and got ourselves arrested for it. And shit, Albert's dead. Bugger. So the Queen wants us to take out his supporters who she thinks are going to be trouble if they're allowed to live. I don't like the way this is going. The Queen is showing more and more that she is, completely sociopathic. Unfortunately for us, we're stuck working for her. And the followers seem to have realised this very early on, that they're in deep shit. Because, one of their own allies is now coming back to murder them horribly with their own magic. This is generally what's regarded as a bad situation. So we're back in the Castle Q, which we haven't been in for a while. And most of you recognise all the rooms in this one. Nothing special about it. But we have starting enemies are an alchemist. The recoup special ability is that they will back off and try to avoid traps. They will also flee if they think they're outmatched, usually after you've murdered them halfway to death. So, anyway, we need to run. We need to get ourselves set up in position. Volcanon is not hard, but he does have quite a bit of health. It takes a fairly solid combo to get rid of him. Luckily, he's going to be the second one coming out after us, so we've got a bit of time to work with things. You've probably noticed I'm back sort of to my more default trap setup, and a few of my traps have been upgraded and acquired the C marker at the start of them. That's the charge ring. It means they will charge up about half again faster. One of the better investments I've used. Thunder Wall, of course, because if anything has water in it, the Thunder Wall is a tremendously useful ability for for electrifying people. The trick, of course, is going to be to get an alchemist who doesn't want to fight me in close, to come close enough to actually get trapped. Of course, he didn't walk into the bear trap, so I had to just electrify the water with him there. But it's enough to be fatal. Or at least it should be. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Very eloquent scream right there. He managed to get an entire sentence into it. But yes, Jael, the alchemist, is dead. We now have a giant armoured motherfucker about to make our lives suck. However, he's not particularly intelligent, so he's going to walk right over the bear trap, get electrified, and go right back into the giant, painful, crushing wheel like his friend did. Which is enough to half kill him, but not enough to actually finish the job. And I probably need to get out of this room fairly shortly before the next one rocks up and causes me grief. Still. As a word of note, because the bridge is in the way, I can't use the Thor hammer or the flare rock on anyone in the area. They will simply get out from it. It'll land on the bridge and do nothing. Tillis here threatening to ruin our day. Fortunately, they're both underneath the bridge, so speaking of dropping things, kasplat. You can see me desperately trying to get the Thunder Wall off there to combo things up a bit. Won't actually kill him, but it will inflict a little bit of extra damage and give me a chance to get the fuck away. Luckily, the AI in this game is not smart enough to actually use the launchers to get around. Otherwise, they would be able to corner me quite easily right now. Part of the reason I'm worried about this is you've seen Tillis' special abilities. She throws bombs at people. This is problematic for me because, in addition to throwing bombs, she's also immune to fire and to blast weaponry like the floor. So there is a problem here. So we're going to try and combo some stuff. This looks like an unusual trap combo. You'll see what I'm setting up in a second. Looks like the Thunderwall is completely out of line with the rest of it. There goes the flare. Of course, I've since upgraded the flare rock to the explosive version, which does that. Sends people airborne, so I can now pop them down with the Thunderwall. I was actually hoping to take him out in midair for the extra combo multiplier, but didn't work. Poor Tillis. She did have a chance to start over, and unfortunately now she's dead. These things happen. Of course, I'm now kind of stuck. Volcanon is not dead yet, but he's going to cause me serious trouble if he gets the chance. And of course, we got Joseph coming up on us before too long. I don't remember what his special ability is, but I don't really remember him at all, so we can't have been too bad. But we may as well get ourselves started in the next room. Everyone remembers this room, because it's, you know, it's full of fire and other awesome things like that. Fire, explosive barrels, minecarts of doom, giant spiky things. It's kind of hard to go past, it really is. And yeah, you can't set ceiling traps in the gunpowder barrels much as I would like to, which means you need to get slightly more creative with this sort of stuff. And we're going to have a little bit of a wait before Volcanon drags his half-dead arse over here to fight us. As I've said before, enemies in this game underneath about 33% health start limping and being slower. Which makes it easy, obviously, to get away from them and not get murdered. But has the disadvantage of, you know, when you have a trap combo set up for them, you've got to sit there and wait for them to haul their crippled asses over there and activate it. Yeah. I mean, I probably could have saved myself the aggravation by using not the activation ring. There's one that automates the traps, causes them to go off as soon as somebody goes across them. Did not get the one I wanted. I actually got Joseph instead. And yeah, you can see what happened there. He's a dead man. The Thunderwall put him right into the gunpowder barrel that exploded. Of course, which gives me plenty of time to deal with Volcanon before Vincent comes up. Vincent isn't actually that tough. He's just sort of the last fighter in the... last or second last, anyway. He's just trouble, because he's a pain in the ass. Fair amount of HP, fair amount of defense. Traps don't hold him very long. The usual stuff, and I can't reset the Thunderwall, of course, because it hasn't finished deactivating. Now I can. Didn't actually want to use the Thunderwall, I wanted the Cold Arrow, but anyway. Yeah, you can see Volcanon not as crippled as I thought he was. Anyway, so we're going to bear trap him. Ka-chunk. We're going to set him with the Cold Arrow, and we're going to use the Thor Hammer to put him into the fireplace. I don't think there's going to be enough of a body left to cast out to see at this rate. He looks rather charcoaled at that point. I was wrong. Vincent, not the last enemy. Falsas continues on afterwards. He's one of the Goliath class enemies. So he carries around a giant fuck-off hammer and he punches the ground, not punches, slams the ground with it, which will kind of make everything suck because it stuns you if you're too close. And this game interprets too close rather generously. Enemies aren't stunned by it. The user is a bit, because he has an animation after hitting it that slows him down quite a bit. Takes him a few seconds to recover. However, end of the day, if you get hit with it and there's two enemies walking up on you, you're in deep trouble. Because the other one will quite calmly walk up and slap you around like a red-headed stepchild. Fortunately, Vincent really isn't very smart in this one, so I'm going to repeat the same trap combo I used earlier, except I'm going to catch him in mid-air this time. Because it's always worth it to do that. And I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to camp this trap combo for a bit, on the grounds that any enemy dumb enough to let themselves get repeated by this one has it coming. And I really don't want to face a halberdier in close, it's too dangerous. You guys haven't seen me get hit very much in this game, but the simple fact of the matter is that some of these enemies can knock a third, half your health off in one hit. You cannot afford to let them take a few swings at you, as we see the Goliath special ability there. Now, if anyone else had been around, and you can see the range on it right there, anyone else had been around to follow up that attack, I'd probably be down half my health by now. And because we still got another guy coming in, and they're going to keep just swarming on me. I need to get them separated. I need to get some distance so I can sort of murder Falgus and just generally cause him some grief. Goliaths themselves, they're not a great threat normally. They're quite slow moving. The problem is they stun you, and once you get stunned, you are going to pretty much die if they have any backup around. Which, yeah, is quite common in this game since there's almost always two enemies involved. Alright, so we're setting up our trap combo for Falgus here. What we're going to try and do is we're going to bear trap him. We're going to use the Thunderbolt to knock the minecart down, hopefully at the same time that we drop the flare rocks so that they both go off, more or less at the same time. And that will hopefully launch him into the spikes at the end there. I don't know how well this is going to work. This was recorded a while ago and I haven't actually remembered everything. But that's the theory. As you can see, these spikes sort of plinging in and out there. Right into the bear trap. There's the Thunderball on the cart. There he goes. There's the flare rock coming down because it will roll. Launch him up and into the spikes right there. Technically speaking, two combos, not one. There was just enough of a gap between the two for the game to differentiate them. And another one dead, but we still got another fucking one coming after us, Lena. Who, oh yes, the fun little advantage, especially he doesn't actually walk through the doors like everyone else does. He takes a flying leap through. Means you can't sort of give him a nice introduction as he walks through the door with a bear trap or some other activated trap. Which is, of course, a problem because, you know, everyone likes being able to do that. And, of course, it ruins your chance to set up a combo to greet him, which is always what you want to be trying to do. So, running out of things to say here. But anyway, so we're going to set up a combo for Bergman, hopefully get him out of the way before Landau gets involved. The trick to surviving in this game is very much a case of trying to pick the enemies off one by one. It's not so bad in this stage because they've pretty much all been melee enemies. As you see the screen getting a bit dark there. The problem is if there's multiples of the ranged attack enemies, or there's a melee and a ranged attack, you get in trouble very fast. Excuse me, simply because they will sort of herd you. You will have to avoid one while the other launches salvo upon salvo at you, and it's just problematic. Luckily I have the vacuum floor available. I haven't been using it very much. I might actually look at upgrading it, but unfortunately did not get him into the explosive barrel right there. I like the fact we're getting blamed for the kidnappings we had nothing to do with. This is going to be an interesting one, as I remember, because, as I said, he dives through. You cannot trap him the way I would normally. And I've used most of the single-use traps in this area, so I'm out of my really big combos of death, so I'm going to have to go back to an old favourite. I'm going to try and bear trap him, freeze him, and then send him into the fire. It's not going to be all that effective, I don't think, but it might work. It might. There's the bear trap. As you can see, this guy has a lot of resilience to certain hits. Into the fire. I don't know how that would have killed him. That should not have been enough damage. But anyway. And he's right. He would never kill Albert. I think we know who did, though. And Cecilia has the uncanny ability of beating us to the crime scene. bastard. Or bitch, I suppose I should say. Though she could be a bastard as well. It's a genealogical thing. And yes, poor Albert is dead. This game is really racking up the death toll for people around us. It's getting ridiculous. Cecilia is showing a certain amount of bravery here. We still don't know how she knows Albert, I don't think. At least I don't remember it. And now we get the great reveal that the Queen pretty much organised Albert's death. This is becoming quite obvious because, frankly, the Queen is a complete psycho bitch. And there's nothing we can do about that because, you know, Queen's psycho bitch tends to go hand in hand. Particularly in games like this, which really isn't, you know, the nicest of series. And that's it for this one. I'm gonna try and marathon through all the way to the end of stage 20.